Alrighty. A little bit of mic technical difficulties, and my sincerest of apologies. Okay, let's go ahead and I'll get the roster starting to be loaded up. This isn't, it's not my custom roster or anything like that. Oh, delete. Let's see if they have a newer one on the community files. Rounds 1 through 4, most of 5, plus some UDFAs. They added Kelvin Benjamin, okay. We'll go to rosters, not there. Yo, what up, Turtle? Oh my god, and these files take goddamn forever to load. Jesus Christ. Let me send out a new @ too. The Dr. Turtle 2 is definitely in here. Alright, now let's see how long it takes to load this one. Okay. Top 150 rookies. Guess we'll just do this one. I already have this one. We'll just overwrite it because he did an update, I think, from the last time I had it. Wonder if they added Tebow. If this dude didn't, and he had a request in there to hit him up for his franchise. Joy. Alright, we gotta load the roster. And then we'll get this shit on the road. Okay. Now, my computer decided to just randomly restart and update, so that's fun. Hunter Henry. Okay. Just gotta make sure these look relatively good. Rip. Hold on. Turtle, I gotta do this for you. Give me just 1 minute. There we go. QB1. Oh, and Ian Book. Yeah, Winston's gotta be below Ian Book. Definitely. Okay, these all look pretty good. These all look pretty good. Okay. So we'll just go all NFL first. And then since the computer decided to do nothing, let me get the list loaded up here. And normally I use my phone to watch the chat because these damn things go away. Starting 2 H-backs over Jameis, lol. Okay, so let me open up the goddamn Google Sheet that I have on my phone. I can't listen, but I can tell it's bad. No, they're not going to change between now and the start of this. I mean, technically they could, because after this you can swap teams and everything like that. So once this is done, people will know their teams, and if you want to trade or, I guess, in show hands, I guess, world, you can pay $200 if you want. But yeah, you can trade teams, but for the most, this is the team you get. Because regardless if there's cross-play or no cross-play, we got 32. And there's only one person who is going to be affected if it's cross-play, and that's Wheezy. But no one likes Wheezy. All right, so the first division we're going to go through is the AFC North, just because that has the most returning users with Rob and Jared. So the Bengals are going to be going to Eyewiner. No surprise. They'll have, compared to last year, Burrow's not going to be superstar dev. I wouldn't believe he's going to probably be star dev. But he'll be better starting out of the box. Still kind of have that old noodle arm. And you know, we're gonna save this. We're gonna continue this in a franchise. I'm gonna import it to a franchise because it's so much easier to look at ratings there. So bear with me. The Bengals, some big acquisitions. They got what the hell's his name? Jamar Chase. So Jamar Chase will be manning down the ship for him. No more AJ Green. So I guess GMs would not take AJ Green over Cooper Kupp. Use active roster. Then we'll start going here. Once it imports. But they're going to have a solid young offense to build around, including, what the hell's that? I can never, Joe Mixon. You're also going to have Tyler Boyd. No real tight end to build around, though, which, I don't know, Rob really doesn't use tight ends. But, God, if this could go any faster.
Select the team you want. Start your season. Start your week by installing your game plan.
Okay, so now that we're in a franchise. So we're going to have Joe Burrow. I didn't even turn off that stuff. Okay. Geez, they have an 88 throw power. So you'll have Joe Burrow coming back off his ACL. So they'll probably dock his injury a little bit. Not the greatest throw power. Oh, there you go, Ryby. Welcome. Joe Mixon. He'll probably lose superstar dev just for the fact alone he didn't have a great year. Other than that, no real good depth to speak of. Chris Evans out of Michigan. Might be some decent depth for him. T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, Tyler Boyd. That's a really good receiving core. Auden Tate as well. Stanley Morgan Jr. makes the team. Other than that, nothing too crazy. Like an elite playmaker out here. But you're going to have three really nice young players to build around. A little bit slower. None of them have over 90 speed. This dude gave Jamar Chase a 92 speed. He's going to be way faster than that, right? Like, we're talking like at least 94, 95. Maybe not. But the Bengals still, after all these years, have CJ Uzomah. That's what's crazy. No tight end to speak about. O-line, now, if O-line is going to be the same as this Madden, it's not going to fucking matter at all. But not a great O-line to speak about. Jonah Williams still is probably your best asset. Xavier Su'a-Filo still trash. Billy Price is still horrible. Trey Hopkins, rookie center, but going to be nothing special. Quentin Spain, nothing special. So you have okay tackles, and the rest are just horrible. So you'll have to quickly rebuild that O-line via draft. Free agency, there's never O-line really in free agency, except this Madden, just because people didn't care enough about O-line. Oh boy, hold on. I think we have a special guest joining Ye Ol' Team Show. D-line, nothing crazy. They signed Trey Hendrickson, but he's basically going to replace, what the hell is his name? So irrelevant. Carl Lawson. Nothing else really on depth that's worthwhile. You lost Geno Atkins. You still have Reader, Larry Ogunjobi. Mike Daniels came back. That was a fun fiasco with Rob last year trying to rate him. Got a few young pieces on there. It's not a terrible D-line. It's just, Sam Hubbard's 25, not going to dev a ton. Trey Henderson's not really going to dev a ton. DJ Reader's not going to dev a ton. So you have guys who are just beyond that upgrading threshold where they'll get a few points better, and then they'll just start falling off a cliff. And if I remember right, they gave Trey Henderson a pretty big deal, didn't they? Like 3 or 4 years. Linebacking core still absolute just horrible. Why am I talking this much about Rob? We know he's not going to watch and he doesn't care. So secondary is going to be young, athletic, which is going to be good. Jesse Bates is an elite safety. Strong safety depth. And yeah, that's Rob. Jer Bear coming back. If there's crossplay, then I don't think he'll get a PS5 and he'll just play PC. Otherwise, he said he's going to play no matter what. Baker will be pretty decently rated in Madden. Nick Chubb's going to be a top 5-6 running back. Kareem Hunt, they re-signed Kareem Hunt this offseason, I think. They extended him out. I don't remember how long, maybe 2 years? Like 2 years, $13 million, something like that. So you're going to have a really good 1-2 punch at running back again. No real home run speed threat, but physical. Kareem Hunt can catch. He can do some stuff after the catch as well. And it's Madden, so Nick Chubb will have 82, 83 juke, and he'll juke like, I don't know, he's got 87 already. So he's going to juke like Barry Sanders or some shit anyways. Now, receivers, I don't remember. I mean, they did they drafted Anthony Schwartz, who's going to be just an absolute burner out of it. And they only gave him 96 speed. I mean, granted, this isn't Madden. This is some random dude's roster. But that guy, he's going to have like 97, 98 speed. But Donovan Peoples-Jones will be a year older. You still have Landry and OBJ, which for Madden franchise purposes, they're 27, and OBJ is not going to be injury prone. So you're going to have a really good receiving core. A great young tight end duo here in Austin Hooper, David Njoku. Austin Hooper is probably going to go down in rating. Just because he didn't have a great year. I think he had 400 or 500 yards. But they're going to have a top 3 O-line in the league. Jedrick Wills, Joel Bitonio, J.C. Treader, Wyatt Teller got his ratings boost. And Conklin, for whatever reason, he's rated a little bit lower than I would think. But their tackle duo is going to be good, and they're going to have the best interior O-line combo probably in the game. And then they signed Jadeveon Clowney, which, if we're not going to do my custom roster, he's going to be overrated as absolute fuck. Myles Garrett's one of the top edge rushers in the game. Not a great interior D-line combo, but you can replace that in Madden. Same with linebacker. They didn't really do much other than drafting JOK. They got him in, the second round, I think? And he's going to be just this fast, athletic, do-it-all user backer. His hit power might be a little low, which will suck for Jared. No worse than T. Right. And then you're going to have this secondary is going to be so fun to use. You're going to have Denzel Ward and Greedy Williams and Greg Newsome. You'll probably put one of them in the slot, maybe Denzel Ward just because of his height, if you really wanted. But you're going to have 3 stud corners to build around for the entire cycle. Troy Hill's just for fuck around 4th corner slot depth at this point. And then John Johnson coming over in free agency. Ronnie Harrison still, Grant Delpit. So you're going to have a phenomenal secondary for the entire cycle. It's going to be similar to mine this year, where you just keep your guys. They're all going to be 23, 24 years and younger, and you're going to be able to keep them 6-7 seasons. But that's the Browns roster. Now we're going to move on to the Steelers, which now at this point, those are the only 2 returning users to their team that have been announced. So from this point on, they're all going to be potential new users. There's some users staying at their teams, but this is going to start being, we don't know who it is. So, without further ado, the Pittsburgh Steelers for the Madden 22 cycle, they're going to be Snake Williams. He's returning to the Steelers. Not many people had them in their top. And Waffles, I'm going to get you in this chat here. Give me just 2 minutes, and then I'll get you in here. Actually, you know what? We'll do it now. I don't know if I have party share on, so give me just a second. Say something. something. Did you guys hear Waffles? Someone let me know if you can hear Waffles. Alright, they can't hear you, so give me 2 seconds. I'm going to see if I can add this here. God, how do you... Yo, what up, D? How the hell do you add audio to this? Anyone know? I knew how to do it for... Oh, I can just go into my settings. Hold on. Sound. Captures and broadcasts. Broadcasts. Audio. Include... Alright, well, we'll try it here. Can you guys hear Waffles yet? Let me turn on the stream.
Okay, let's go ahead and I'll get the roster started. This isn't,
Well, you can hear yourself through my mic, but that's faint. That's faint. Let's see here. Options. I can only turn on camera. You can't just change, like, the broadcast settings. Do you have audio sharing on in your chat? Double check that. If not, I'll just have to leave the party, and then we'll just try it again next. Rip. Well, appreciate you trying to join, sir. Right. Well, rip, but appreciate you trying to do this, sir. Okay, so Snake will be getting the Steelers this year. Big Ben, sorry for the delay. Big Ben, gonna be horrible. Yeah, I had it. I don't know why. It won't let me just change to, I think I had party audio off when I started the stream. And for whatever reason, it's just not letting me add it during the stream, which makes no sense, but hey.
and for whatever reason.
Okay, so it's got no one else at quarterback. Najee Harris, which I don't... He'll be fine, Madden-wise, but I don't know. What was his 40? Because I don't think he's going to be super fast or anything like that. He's got real no speed at running back. He's got size. They got a ton of inside power guys, but no real scat back. And his receiving core, now they're going to be young, which is crazy that Juju's younger than, like, Deontay Johnson. Juju's been in the league already for an entire contract. But it's going to be a real fun young core to build around. You know, James Washington, Chase Claypool, especially. I'm surprised he's not as highly... Granted, he just had some touchdowns in the red zone and shit. But Juju, Deontay, Chase Claypool, James Washington is going to be a really fun young receiving core to have. And then you're going to have Pat Freiermuth in the mix as well, Eric Ebron. So you're going to have a young athletic skill position group, especially with Najee Harris. Key will be to see what he does with quarterback. I mean, you have Dwayne Haskins, but he's not going to be anything developable or usable, really. O-line kind of fell apart for them. You lose your left tackle, you lose a left guard, you lose a center. You have an okay right tackle. You have a right guard, and that's about it. So it's going to be a really, really rough O-line. Snake might struggle with this team out the box season 1. Defense, though, is going to be a complete 180. You're going to have great interior D-line, Stephon Tuitt, Cameron Hayward, two of the best in the game. Right, that's what happened. I had it off and started streaming, and you can't turn it back on. And you're going to have Tyson Aluwalu there as rotational depth. You're going to have three. Now, they're older, but you're going to have three good players for the first couple seasons. And then your edge depth, not depth, but your edges, your rush is going to be good enough, especially when you add TJ Watt on the edge. Now, you have Vince. No, he's not a pass rusher. But you don't have much outside of him on the edge. You have some, because, yeah, Vince Williams is an interior guy. You can't move him, though. That's probably why. Devin Bush will still be a fast, athletic guy. Buddy Johnson, Vince Williams. There'll be enough for you a few seasons there. Now, the corner room isn't going to be that good either. Now, you'll have Minkah. Terrell Edmonds is okay, overrated in Madden. But other than Minkah, you're not really going to have anything amazing in the backfield. So you're going to have to rely on that front seven, generate pressure, if that works this year, and hope that your back end can hold up and that Minkah can roam around in the center field, just in the back half of the defense. And that's it. Now, the Ravens this year. I want to be the Ravens. I chose not to be them this year, mainly because they drafted Rashad Bateman. But for me, I'm not a person who... I believe running quarterbacks can be shut down easily. You can look at Jody, Lamar. I've played those guys, and I don't think any of them's ever had more than 50 rush yards versus me. It's super easy. Have a spy every single play, throw your stuff on option conservative, and boom, you take away their legs. And with Lamar...
This is the development trait.
I know it's the development trait. I know about superstar abilities. Thank you, Madden. Now, in Madden, he's got a good enough arm where you can actually use him, but I don't care for his throwing motion. I think that if you have Lamar, you have to use his legs, and if you don't, you're just wasting Lamar. So I'm going to let someone else use Lamar. But that's Lamar is kind of the main reason that I passed on the Ravens, and being in a division with Rob. I don't really want to be in a division with Rob. But the Baltimore Ravens this year are going to Young Money, finally getting his black mobile quarterback. And getting the black mobile quarterback. So, AFC North, although they're losing Mad, they're going to still get a really good user replacing him. So, it's still going to be the toughest division in our game. So, or in our league. Now, running back-wise, you got J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards, Justice Hill, solid rotation of backs. They drafted a fullback, too. Right? Fullbacks aren't people, so it doesn't matter. But they drafted one. You're going to have Sammy Watkins, Marquise Brown, Miles Boykin, Devin Duvernay. You're not going to have Rashad Bateman because I'm going to have him. He's going to be traded to me, so don't you worry about that. They'll have, DJ Chark or Laviska Shenault, Marvin Jones. They're going to have something instead. Waffles, you don't know the true story of Young Money then. And they'll have Nick Boyle blocking tight end, so I don't know if he's going to even use him. But Mark Andrews is a great tight end in the game. You're going to have a really good O-line with Ronnie Stanley, Kevin Zeitler, Alejandro Villanueva. Your interior O-line kind of on that left side is going to be iffy, but Ben Cleveland will be fine. You got a young Devable guard. Bradley Bozeman can also play guard for a season. Then you just find a center. Defense, though, this is going to be the main... Now, I hate people that do this. He's not playing 3-4 defensive end, you fucking moron. We're going to move him. So you're going to have Derek Wolfe, Calais Campbell, Brandon Williams. That's going to be a really, formidable defensive front. Justin, Madubuki, something. Going to do really good. It's going to be really good having a young defensive tackle there that you can dev up, especially with Wolf and Campbell on the wrong side of 30. But you're going to have Jason Owe. What does he want to go by now? What's his real name? Jason Owe. Whatever the hell he wants to go by now. You're going to have an athletic stud at outside backer. Now, they put him at 93 speed here. Swami's been dropping hints that his 40 was 37 yards instead of 40, and it was downhill. So don't be surprised if he comes in 88, 89, maybe 90 speed max. because I don't think he thinks he's as fast as he showed on his 40 time. But you're also going to have Patrick Queen, who's almost 90 speed. You'll have some slow guys over here, but you have a really athletic linebacking core and an edge rushing core. So overall, you're going to have old and young players mixed together, but it's going to be a great front seven from the get-go. And as long as you keep cycling out those interior guys for some youth, you're going to have a solid front to build around. And then with the Ravens, you're going to get a phenomenal back half secondary team. You're going to get Marlon Humphrey, who's going to be a superstar dev. Marcus Peters might be superstar. And then Jimmy Smith, although he doesn't play much, him and Tavon Young, they're going to be fine in Madden. They drafted Sean Wade. So you're going to go 4-5 deep season one. And Jimmy Smith is old. You can try and trade him for someone who wants to win now and have a corner in season one, but you'll have a good secondary season one with or without him. So you got depth. Safety's a little iffy, but you have young pieces there. Deshaun Elliott, Chuck Clark are both really good young safeties in Madden. Chuck Clark, I don't think he updated these ages. So he actually might be 26, so never mind on that. But overall, you're just going to have a nice young back seven of the defense. If you include your edge rushers, you're going to have a young, good back nine. And just replace the two dudes in the middle. So, and then this is going to be one of the few times we talk about kickers. You're going to have Justin Tucker, who's going to be the best kicker in the game. So, okay. So that's the AFC North. We're going to have Rob as the Bengals, Jared as the Browns, Snake as the Steelers, and we're going to have Young Money as the Ravens. What division do we want to do next? I'll let you guys pick the next division. Any preference? NFC North. Oh, hey, what's up, Wookie? Okay, yours, Dick. Okay, we will do the NFC North. There's quite a bit of NFC North ones. Let me just mark it down so I forget. So we will start with the Bears. We'll kind of do alphabetical order for these. Okay. Let me just check it off. Edit. Markup. Alright, so North is done. Oh, we're doing both Norths. Okay. So, NFC North. The Chicago Bears. They are going to be held by the one, the only, Lindy, a.k.a. Windy, the man of many L's. So, in his glorious 5 games in the league, he did win a playoff game. He beat the defending champ Snake with the Texans and knocked them off. Windy will be joining us for the cycle, and he'll be getting his real-life team, the Chicago Bears. And he is going to have a blast with Justin Fields and developing, going to be a great Madden quarterback to develop. Who cares about Foles and Andy Dalton? They'll be cap casualties and gone after a year. You'll have a solid running back in David Montgomery, Damian Williams, Tariq Cohen. That's about all you could ask for in Madden to start with. You'll have Allen Robinson, and he won't be pissed off wanting to leave, so you'll be able to have a stud receiver. You'll have a speed threat, deep threat, home run guy in Marquise Goodwin. After that, Darnell Mooney, Anthony Miller, solid depth guys, Damiere Byrd as well. The new Jody. You'll have Jimmy Graham, who sucks. You'll have Cole Kmet, who's okay. They trade up and got Tevin Jenkins, so you got your cornerstone left tackle, you got your cornerstone quarterback, you have a receiver, you have a decent running back room, you have some pieces at receiver. So this is going to be a fun offense to actually use. Get a tight end, build around that a little bit, and you got a solid offense for the cycle. You won't have a first-round pick season 1. That'll be going to the Giants. Okay, so other than that, James Daniels is fine, Cody Whitehair's fine. Right side of the line's kind of meh, but you have pieces there. You have a young left side of the line, so that's all you can ask for. Defense, though, Robert, of course, they're going to make him a fucking 3-4 end instead of an outside linebacker. Pass rush is going to be Robert Quinn and Khalil Mack. Blyle Nichols, Akeem Hicks, Eddie. What in the hell did they do with this lineup? Okay, whatever. You're going to have solid inside Interior D-line help. Lyle Nichols, Eddie Goldman are young enough where they can be here for a few seasons. Akeem Hicks is great trade bait if you want to trade him. Otherwise, he's still a stud in Madden. Khalil Mack, hopefully he won't be useless, but Khalil Mack and Robert Quinn, along with, that's it. They'll be fine edges. Roquan Smith is going to be a great user backer. Almost 90 speed, good hit power, can cover, can tackle, everything. So, Danny Trevathan's fine. DBs, now this is kind of where, now they have Jalen Johnson for a young guy. They got Desmond Trufant, who's a stopgap for a year or two. After that, you got nothing. This is going to be some burnt toast here. You still have Eddie Jackson. Sean Gibson's okay. Nothing too fancy about the defense. Isn't as good as what it was in 2018. That Bears defense was phenomenal. But you lose Fuller, you lose Adrian Amos, so you're gonna be missing those elite pieces of what the Bears used to have that was enticing. But you gain a young quarterback, you gain a young left tackle, so you take your pick. The Detroit Lions this year will be Jimbo. Jimbo will be taking his talents to the not talented Detroit Lions. Jared Goff's going to be on a fat contract, so that's going to be GG that for a little bit. You have DeAndre Swift, but he's not that fast in Madden. He's not like this amazing young running back who's just going to tear up the league. So, and Jimbo's not a huge running guy. He's a spread guy, so nothing crazy here. Terrell Williams, Brashad Perriman, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Geronimo Allison. So you're not going to have anything too fun or spectacular to work with. What did I say that was? I forgot. What did I say? Or did someone in the chat make something funny? But nothing really going to be here that's good. I mean, Amon-Ra St. Brown might be something worthwhile to dev up, but nothing spectacular. Tight end, you will have TJ Hawkinson. He loves those top 5 picks, right? He does have Sewell. TJ Hawkinson, he's going to be your best offensive weapon to build around in general. You'll need to get a quarterback. You'll need to get maybe a running back. You'll need to get some more receivers. But you got a tight end. You got fucking 5-speed garbage-ass Darren Fells. You do have a decent O-line. Taylor Decker's fine. Frank Ragnall's one of the best centers in the game. Terrell Crosby's going to be okay. And you'll have Penei Sewell. TJ Hawkinson, yeah, he's good. He's really good in Madden. He's going to be your best offensive piece to build around. Defensively, Romeo Okwara had a really good year, and he's got his brother on the team too, Julian Okwara. So you'll have the Okwaras. You'll have an overpaid garbage Trey Flowers. They brought over Michael Brockers from the Rams, Deshaun Hands. So the D-line's going to be fine. They're going to be okay in the trenches season 1. But you're going to need to build out from there on both sides. Skill and back end of the defense is going to be something you really need to improve on. Alex Anzalone, nothing, anything. Is he really on the Lions? For whatever reason, I thought they cut him. Like, I seriously thought they cut him when they got rid of Coach Pencil. No, Detroit should be 4-3 now, I think. They were kind of that hybrid front with Matt Patricia. Secondary, New England Light. Well, not anymore because they got rid of them. They're going to be kneecap biters. But Jeff Okudah didn't have any spectacular season. And then they got Melifanu in the draft. Yeah, Aaron Glenn's 4-3. That's what I thought. Granted, they're going to be in sub packages, 3-4 bites of the kneecap at a time. It's going to be a rough secondary. There's nothing really to build around here. Okudah will still be fine in Madden just because he'll be decent. But he's going to be normal or star dev. So he's not going to be like what he was at the beginning of the cycle. And then Fat Randy at kicker, the guy who pulled his hand, the guy that Rob blamed for costing Joe Burrow a win because the dude pulled his hammy or something. So next, the Green Bay Packers with potential Aaron Rodgers or not. I think this is pretty obvious seeing who the other 2 clowns in the division were. This one is going to Dr. Cumguzzler 2. So Dr. Turtle is going to be taking the Green Bay Packers, which, out of the box, fresh out the gate, going to be one of the best teams in the game. You're going to have Aaron Rodgers, and especially if he keeps that release time, he keeps some of his abilities, he's going to be the best quarterback in the game. You're going to have Jordan Love, which thumbs up emoji. He's going to try and build around Jordan Love in general and move on from him and try and trade Rodgers or just move off of him somehow. Aaron Jones under contract. You're going to have a great running back, solid backup option. Now you're going to have a great fullback as well that you can trade Rob for a first-round pick. You're going to have Devontae Adams, Funchess, MVS, Allen Robinson. Amari Rodgers is a rookie. EQ St. Brown. So nothing other than Devontae Adams. You're not going to have anything great at the receiving core, but you'll have a little bit of youth now with Amari Rodgers. Robert Tonyan, he's going to have great catching, but kind of meh. Can't believe they gave this dude a 98 catching. Mercedes Lewis still. Again, Josiah DeGuara, you can just give LFC North. Who is D again? I forget. Who is that? Someone answer me that. D, who are you again? I remember him saying that. D, damn. Someone posted the God in meme and tagged me. Damn it. Damn. Rip. You have David Bakhtiari. God, yeah, I knew it was coming. I set myself up. Damn it. Jenkins is a phenomenal guard. I didn't realize he was that highly rated in Madden. Josh Myers is going to be a rookie. You're going to have a young right side of that offensive line and then just garbage Billy Turner. But defense, though, in Madden, they're a fun defense. Zadarius Smith. Why is he a left end in a 3-4? Kenny Clark as well. Sorry, Rashawn Gary. Preston Smith. My boy. Kamal Martin is there as well. But nothing too spectacular at the off-ball linebacker position. One of the biggest weakness of the team really is going to be that right side of the line, interior maybe, and then linebacker. But secondary, though, Eric Stokes is going to be a phenomenal corner to pair up with Jari Alexander, which I know people weren't high on Stokes being drafted, but it's going to be a dual athletic corner pair on the outside. You're going to have garbage Kevin King, but he's less athlete. He's Deion Sanders. Someone give the turtle reaction. Darnell Savage, one of my favorite players in Madden. He's young. He's so fast from a safety position, and he's going to progress really nice. And you have Adrian Amos. And then Mason Crosby, good kick power. So Dr. Turtle will be handling the Packers this Madden. And now, the Minnesota Vikings. This year, the Minnesota Vikings will be Mr. NY Kia 31. Kia will be taking his talents to the Minnesota Vikings. Kia is going to have Kellen Mond to work up. He's got Kirk Cousins for a season, but after that, he'll have Kellen Mond if he so chooses to. Delvin Cook. Kia absolutely destroyed with... There goes Wendy. Oh, boy. Kia will have Delvin Cook for his spread offense. It's going to be a great spread zone run offense. Expect C.J. Ham to be cut right away. He'll have an amazing young receiver in Justin Jefferson to build around. He's going to probably be a superstar dev receiver. If not, he'll be star at least, but probably a superstar. He's going to be a top receiver in the league. He'll have Adam Thielen to work with. Irv Smith Jr. is going to be, and he's never really had that kind of a tight end to work with. And he'll have Irv Smith Jr. And then they'll actually have a young offensive line. You'll have Christian Darrisaw now that they got Urza Cleveland still young, Garrett Bradbury, Wyatt Davis, Brian O'Neill. It's going to be a very young athletic line that's going to just fit his just spread offense perfectly. This is a really good fit. Now, defense, they still have Daniil Hunter, who's going to be probably a phenomenal pass rusher as long as they fix pass rush a little bit. But other than that, you'll have a great interior with Michael Pierce, Delvin Tomlinson. You have a really good linebacker with Eric Kendricks. Anthony Barr will be usable for a season or two, and then you can ship him off. You'll have an okay corner group to start because Pat Pete signed here. But other than that, Mackenzie Alexander is going to be past his dev limit. You'll have Cameron Dantzler, but he's the one going through some issues, right? But you have a couple of young guys. Then you have Harrison Smith, who's still one of the top safeties in the game. Xavier Woods will be fine for a little bit. But yeah, you're going to have... This is going to be a fun division. Obviously, I think Kia will be probably the division winner right away, but it's going to be a fun, competitive division to watch. Going to be a lot of points scored. But that's your NFC North. Bears will be going to Windy. Lions to Jimbo. Packers to Dr. Turtle. Vikings to Kia. The Vikings were the other team I was considering. I wanted the Vikings for Justin Jefferson and to join the division with Turtle, Windy, and Jimbo. That would have been a really fun division to be in, but I chose a different team, which you guys all know it's the Jags. I'm the Jags, so we'll kind of brush over mine later. But what division do we want to do next? We have done the NFC North and AFC North. Go ahead and let me know. AFC South, okay. We'll do AFC South. Now, the AFC South, we'll start with the Jags just because I just said I'm the Jags. Taking my talents to Jacksonville, I'll have Trevor Lawrence, Gardner Minshew, James Robinson. They'll probably trade to Windy because, he's a stan of his, even though he sucks. I'll have Travis Etienne, Marvin Jones, DJ Chark, Rashad Bateman, Philip Dorsett, Laviska Shenault. No tight. Hey, they gave him a 66 overall. Let's go. Tim Tebow, Walker Little, Cam Robinson. A decent interior O-line for a little bit at least to build around. Josh, they really gave him a superstar dev. Josh Allen. Where the hell is he? They really made him an outside backer. Clavon Chason. Nothing good on it's going to be a rebuild. It's going to be one of the worst teams I've ever had to start with in a Madden franchise. So I'm just going to have to try and outscore opponents for the first few seasons. I will have Miles Jack, who will be a good linebacker to have. A decent secondary. C.J. Henderson, Trey Herndon, Tyson Campbell, Sidney Jones, Shaquille Griffin, Andre Sisco, Rayshawn Jenkins. It'll be an okay young secondary to build with, but I have my work cut out for me this year. Okay, now we will start with... You guys are going to just, throw a fit. Okay, so I wanted Kia to be the Colts. Kia was strongly considering the Colts, but then he just kind of said, I'd rather be the Vikings. And I'll be honest, I didn't really have anyone else to be the Vikings other than Kia, because Young Money... him and Kia and me were Young Money, Kia and myself were the only ones who put the Vikings, because Wonka was scared to be in a division with Turtle, Windy, and Jimbo. So he didn't want to go there, and Nick didn't want to go there either, so it was kind of just, my division ended up this way by default. So the Colts are going to Dove. Dove, a.k.a. Adam Schefter, will be taking the Colts. Now, I don't know what they're going to do draft pick-wise, and I know what they're doing with the Colts draft pick, but I can't say. I promised I wouldn't spoil that, especially over a stream. I'm not going to do it. Dove will be going to the Colts. Wentz is not going to be that good in Madden, so just unfortunately, and he's going to have a big contract, but he's going to be athletic, have a strong arm. Maybe he'll be okay enough. But you'll have a great young running back, Jonathan Taylor. Naheem Hines is going to be athletic. Marlon Mack's on a one-year deal. No real skill players that are worth anything. Paris Campbell, he's fast, but he's been hurt quite a bit, so he's not going to be that good anymore. okay slow tight end duo. Great O-line, though. Yeah, hopefully that matters this year, but Big Q, Ryan Kelly, Mark Lewinsky, Braden Smith, and then they signed Eric Fisher, which will be a fine left tackle. Now, they invested heavily into their defense after they got Kwity Paye. Who else did they draft? Who else did they fucking take? I can't think of their draft class off the top of my head. But Bobby Okiki and Darius Leonard, going to be a really good athletic young linebacking duo to build around. Your secondary is not too bad, actually, in Madden, especially that Xavier Rhodes re-signed. Kenny Moore, Xavier Rhodes, Rocky Sin. It's older, but you got some young pieces there. And then Julian Blackmon's a good young safety. Kerry Willis is an okay young safety. And then you got Hot Rod at kicker. Okay, so now this is Wendy's gonna lose his shit. So the Texans was a volunteer who came forward to be the Texans. So we would all like to thank him for being the Texans. So no one had the Texans. Smith said he'd be any team. And I don't want to... I'm trying to not give people the Texans unless they specifically asked for them. Yes, Joe, Ed will be the Texans for Madden 22. Ed will be the Texans. Okay, so... I want to see Wendy's reaction first before I continue. Okay, so I want to see Wendy's reaction first. Okay, so he will have Deshaun Watson at least. Now I'm surprised. Like I think people were thinking that Deshaun Watson wasn't going to be on the team, but he's still going to be on the team, I'd assume, and we'll keep him in the game just as to reward whoever the brave soul was who took the Texans, which was Ed. They got Phillip Lindsay, Mark Ingram. They have. I don't think they're going to cut or trade him before the season. He'll probably be suspended, but I can't see them trading him. Brandon Cooks dude's been in the league 7 years, and he's going to be 27 with 93 plus speed. Kiki QT, Randall Cobb, Chris Conley. It's an okay receiving core. You know, mediocre at best, but you have one good player. You have Laramie Tunsil. Phil probably thinks he's the greatest thing since fucking sliced bread at left tackle. Other than that, the offensive line's in rough shape. You did trade for Marcus Cannon, so you'll have an okay right tackle for season 1. D-line's meh, nothing great now that you lost J.J. Watt. You did bring in Shaq Lawson. You have Whitney Merciless. Right, exactly. He came in at like 20 years old, and he was with the Saints, then went to the Pats, and then went to the Rams, and now the Texans. And then, linebacker, nothing that good. So the Texans, the defense rough. But the thing with the Texans that surprised me with people's hard on for a secondary, they have a really good secondary Madden-wise. Desmond King, for as meh as he was after, no one really thought of anything, especially when the Titans just let him go in free agency. You're going to have Bradley Roby, him, Vernon Hargraves, Terrence Mitchell to build around. Keon Crosson's fast. And you have Justin Reed, who's going to be a really young, good safety. And then Lonnie Johnson as well. My boy Eric Murray, although he's overpaid, but he'll be okay. So they have a good secondary. You have Deshaun Watson. You have Brandon Cooks. So you have some pieces there. But other than that, you don't got much. And you have Laramie Tunsil. So, okay. Now to the Tennessee Titans. This year, the Tennessee Titans will be Nick, a.k.a. Spectre Bug. He will be taking the Titans. He will have Ryan Tannehill, although he'll be expensive. He'll be a good quarter. He's 87 overall right now in Madden's roster, and he might even be superstar dev. You're going to have Derrick Henry, who's probably going to be the cover athlete, and if that's the case, he's just going to by default be one of the most OP players in the game. You're going to have, and if they trade for Julio Jones too, they're going to have a great, but you got A.J. Brown already. Boomer Bug with Derrick Henry, yes sir. You're going to have A.J. Brown, D's Fitzpatrick nuts in your mouth. They don't really have much else outside of Cody Hollister, too. But you're going to have A.J. Brown to build around. Nothing really at tight end, but you're going to have an Oak. Really? You can't do, like, Dylan Radunes, Taylor Lewan, Roger Saff, enough O-line, Nate Davis. Now, the the defense took a hit. They lost Jadeveon Clowney, Malcolm Butler, Adoree Jackson, I believe. Hey, Nick. They did get Bud Dupree. I forgot they signed Bud Dupree. Jeffrey Simmons developed... Oh, Jesus. I don't know. He's really... God, these EA rosters. Jayon Brown, athletic linebacker. Rashaan Evans is a really good young linebacker. And then Harold Landry is a really good athletic pass rusher, at least, to dev up. Again, I don't know. It's really confusing that the guy who made this roster doesn't know 3-4 versus 4-3. Corner, you got Jackrabbit. You did draft Caleb Farley, who is one of the top thought-out corners. His injury is going to be low, but it's Madden. Players hardly get fucking hurt anyways. And you'll have Kristen Fulton as well. So you'll have an okay duo to build around, and you'll have a Janoris Jenkins for Season 1. Amani Hooker will be a good safety to build around, and then you have Kevin Byard. So you'll have a really good, lengthy, rangy free safety. So that is the AFC South. The Colts will be going to Dove, the Jaguars to myself, the Texans will be Ed, and the Titans will be Nick, a.k.a. Spectre Bug. So what division do we want to see next? Do we want to go NFC South, or do we want to bounce this around a little bit? Let me know what we're thinking. NFC South it is. Okay, so the NFC South, we will start with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Recently done by me this year. They are going to be going back to Vapo. Vapo will be the Bucs again. He did me a solid trading them to me. That way I could use Brady and Gronk one more time. So, Vapo, I appreciate you. They're going back to you where they belong and deserve. Now, we got some people that you're going to need to trade me, but Bucs are going to be stacked. Tom Brady, they drafted Kyle Trask, which, say what you want about Kyle Trash being an actual player. He's young and mad, and he's going to sit for a few years, so he's going to be just fine, and he's going to develop into the replacement for Tom Brady. You're going to have Rojo, Leonard Fournette, Giovanni. He's not that good, but you'll have an overrated Gio Bernard. You're going to have one of the, if not the best receiving core in the game with Mike Evans, Godwin, AB, Scotty Miller. Your fifth receiver is Tyler Johnson, but he's going to be traded to me. We already got a trade worked out. And then you drafted Jalen Darden, too. You'll have Justin Watson, so you'll have so much depth at receiver. And you're going to have a ton of depth at tight. I'm going to try and trade for Gronk. You bet your ass I'm going to try and trade for Gronk. But other than that, you got Gronk if you keep him. You got O.J. Howard, Cameron Brate. You got a deep tight end room. Rob make this roster. Yeah, Rob did make the roster. And then their O-line is now one of the top O-lines in the game. Donovan Smith is their weak point. Gronk for Tebow straight up. That's what I love to hear, Wookie. Donovan Smith at left tackle. Ali Marpet at left guard. One of the best guards in the game. One of the best centers in the game. And Ryan Jensen, Snake's favorite player. Alex Kappa's another weak link, but then you've got a stud of all studs at tackle. Tristan Wirf's going to be an almost 90 rated at 22 years old. Phenomenal. Defense is going to be great. William Golston's probably your worst player in the secondary, or secondary D-line. They have Ndamukong. Okay, no, they're not both. This bugs the shit of me. So 1 second. Okay. So, you're going to have William Golston, Ndamukong Suh, Vitavia, Steve McLendon, Shaq Barrett, Levante David, Devin White, JPP. It's going to be the best front seven in the game. And you're going to have a really good young secondary. Carlton Davis, Sean Murphy Bunting, Jamel Dean, Antoine Winfield Jr., who I'm going to try and get and trade for. And then Jordan Whitehead, Mike Edwards. This is the secondary that I kept. That entire secondary. I traded Dean, but I kept Davis, Bunting, Winfield, Whitehead. That's my entire secondary still. Yeah, the defense is insane. They're going to have the best defense in the game and one of the best offenses in the game, if not the best offense in the game, because Tom Brady's going to be rated great and he's going to get great abilities. So the Bucs are going to go to Vapo and he's going to have a stacked roster, a stacked team, and they're going to be a great team. It's going to be the best team he's probably ever had. So congrats to Vapo getting the Bucs. Next up, the Atlanta Falcons are going to be, now Julio might not be here, so we got to prepare for that. He's probably not going to be here, but the Atlanta Falcons this year are going to be mad. Matt is heading back to the Falcons. He's still going to have Matt Ryan's expensive old ass, and he's a Falcons fan, so that's why he came back here. He doesn't really have much of a running game either. After Julio, he's going to have Calvin Ridley. He's going to have Cordell Patterson. Russell Gage was solid. Tajay Sharp's okay. But after Julio, he's going to kind of lose that offense that he used to have and love. But he gets Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts is going to be a stud in Madden. He's going to be phenomenal. But Madden's not really a tight end guy. So how much is it going to, benefit him to have tight ends? So we'll see how he uses Kyle Pitts. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. O-line wise, Jake Matthews he's good. He'll be fine. But the rest of the O-line's in rough shape other than Chris Lindstrom. So Mad's got his work cut out. I'll say that for sure. Defense, too, it's nothing special. I mean, you have Grady Jarrett, but other than that, and Deion Jones, after those two, your front seven's pretty weak. Your secondary's horrible. This was one of the worst defenses in the NFL last year. Yeah, exactly. Yes, Shiloh did. The Falcons will be OP by season 3 because of Mad, no doubt. But it'll be an interesting season 1, no doubt about that. The secondary, they got young pieces. I didn't mean to just skip through them like that. AJ Terrell, Isaiah Oliver, Kendall Sheffield, Darren Hall, Avery Williams. It's a young secondary, so he'll need a season or two to build them up. Don't really have much of a young secondary either, Richie Grant, but other than that, nothing really there. So, but, Falcons Jags Super Bowl where Brandon loses wide left. Hey now, chill. The Carolina Panthers this year, basically it went like this. Jets fans requested the Jets number 1, and then they put the Panthers number 2 to use Sam Darnold and Robbie Anderson. So the Carolina Panthers this year will be going to Mr. Proto. Proto will be taking his talents to the Panthers. And the Panthers offense, other than Sam Darnold, who might be rough, the offense is absolutely loaded. Sam Darnold, but he's still only going to be 23, 24 years old. So you're going to and he's okay enough. He's 78 speed, so he's mobile enough, decent arm, decent accuracies. You can dev him up, especially if you play well with him. And then Christian McCaffrey, just the best running back in Madden. And then you're getting Chuba Hubbard, who's going to be just absolutely ridiculous to have in Madden. With Grant, I don't know. I don't think he's going to be that lowly rated because he was a stud back in college. And then Rodney Smith, a gopher, he'll be mine, but you have him too. And then the receiving core is where it gets really nice. Now, they did lose Curtis Samuel, but Robbie Anderson, Chubba Hubba, Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore, Terrace Marshall, great trio of receivers. David Moore's fine for a 4 receiver. Dan Arnold, nothing there at tight end. Ian Thomas, Tommy Tremble, he might make some noise for a guy, but he's going to be pretty lowly rated. Now, the left tackle spot's going to be bleh with Greg Little, but other than, hey, my cousin, it's going to be fine enough to deal with season 1, but you'll have to build up the O-line a little bit, which that's the NFL. Most NFL teams are just kind of walking on thin ice with their O-line. Brian Burns developed great, had a great, I think it was his second season that he jumped up, so Same with Yetur Gross-Matos. He'll be fine. Athletic. Derek Brown, Daquan Jones, Davian Nixon. So you're going to have a solid young defensive line to build up, other than Daquan Jones, but he's good for a filler while you dev up Davion Nixon. Now, they did get Hassan Reddick. Now, he's an edge rusher. Again, they put him at an off-ball linebacker because YOLO, but he'll be kind of that good hybrid. Think of how Seattle used Bruce Irvin. Think of him in that role. You don't really have much else. Shaq Thompson's fine. Now, secondary, A.J. Boye, Dante Jackson, J.C. Horn. That's a really good trio of corners season 1. Same with Troy Pride as depth. And then Jeremy Chin had a really good rookie year, too. So you're going to have a good young safety to build around. And then not much else at the other safety spot. So the Panthers will be going to Proto. Now, the Saints this year. Now, this is kind of dependent. Right now, we have it penciled in as Wheezy. Wheezy will be becoming a Saints fan because he said whatever team I give him, he'd be a fan of. So Wheezy will be the Saints. We just kind of joked about moving Taysom Hill above Jameis Winston to piss off Jimbo. But you'll have Winston here for a year if you want to try and build around him. Ian Book, potentially, if you like mobile, shitty pocket passers who are shitty. You have Elvin Kamara under a big contract. Really good Madden back. Unless you're Wonka, then you just don't know how to use players at all. Michael Thomas, and after that, you don't have much. So you'll need to kind of revamp your weapon room, especially with Troutman being bleh in Madden. You'll basically just have Kamara and MT. But you get a great offensive line. Teron Armstead, Eric McCoy, Ryan Ramczyk. You get 3 stud offensive linemen. And your guards are okay, but those are the most replaceable ones. Yeah. Well, they do have a cheesy linebacker. They have Cameron Jordan, Waffle's favorite player. They have the great Marcus Davenport, who is worth 2 first-round picks. And then okay interior D-line. Demario Davis is going to be a great linebacker for a season or 2. And then you have a really good corner, Marshawn Lattimore, Marcus Williams, Malcolm Jenkins, and Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. It's Chauncey, right? Or am I just tripping? I think it was Chauncey. But, so it's a good team, but you have to make some moves. You got to flip Malcolm Jenkins, you got to potentially find a quarterback, and you got to rebuild your weapons room. But Wheezy... Well, I think their salary cap's okay in Madden after Season 1, especially since you'll be able to move on from Taysom Hill and Malcolm Jenkins. But yeah, Wheezy needing to draft around that salary cap could be GG. Could very well be GG. Okay, we are halfway done. We have done the Norths and the South. So now it is time for us to do the East and West. So what do we want to do? Do we want to go East or West? What division's next? Wheezy probably, if there's no crossplay, Wheezy's not playing, and we'll fill the Saints with someone else. So, okay, East. We'll start in the AFC East. So, the AFC East, we will start with the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills this year, the unfortunate person to ruin Josh Allen's promising young career will be Wonka. Wonka will be taking over the Bills this year. He'll have Josh Allen, who's going to be a great Madden quarterback to use, great quarterback just in general for the game, biggest arm in the game, improving accuracy, superstar dev at least, maybe X Factor. He's going to have escape artist too. He's just going to be a stud. Now, you're going to have to pay that contract. That balloon payment will come. Right, we're going to get Manny's version of Josh Allen. Then you have Devin Singletary, Matt Breida. And then now your receiving core, it's going to be really good season 1. Stephon Diggs, Cole Beasley, Emmanuel Sanders, Gabriel Davis is young enough. Kind of gadget guy with Isaiah McKenzie. So you got weapons, but they're a little old. Beasley, Sanders on the wrong side of 30. but you have a young athletic tight end in Dawson Knox, Jacob Hollister. O-line's okay. Deion Dawkins is fine. Mitch Morse is fine. Darrell Williams is fine. Nothing special about the offensive line, but it will do its job. Now, you'll have Gregory Rousseau to build around on the D-line. Same with A.J. Epinesa. They also drafted Carlos Basham Jr., Ed Oliver, so you'll have a young defensive line to build around. And then Mario Addison, Jerry Hughes, you can try and trade them off if you want. Now, linebacker, Tremaine Edmonds and Matt Milano, although they're not rated really, high up there, they're young, athletic guys to build around, which is all you can ask for at the linebacker spot. And then you have a really nice secondary. Tre'Davious White, one of the best corners in Madden. Taron Johnson, a young upcoming corner. Levi Wallace is a really good slot corner. You can play a little bit on the outside if you want. Micah Hyde, although Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer, they're older, they're still rated really nice. So you're going to have a really good secondary season one. Potentially trade them off for some younger assets and whatnot. So Wonka will be taking over the Buffalo Bills. The Miami Dolphins this year. Now, this is one of the more popular requested teams. Them and the Jags were the two most requested teams we had. So, the Miami Dolphins will be staying with Ryby this year. Mr. Ribeye will be keeping the Miami Dolphins. Now, he traded away Tua last time, so he's going to have to probably do that again this year because he wasn't a fan of Tua. No real running game to speak of, but they signed Will Fuller, and they drafted Jalen Waddle, and they also have Jakeem Grant already, so they're going to have a track team of receivers, still have Devontae Parker and Albert Wilson, so it's going to be a much improved receiving core. Mike Gesicki and Hunter Long are going to be two really good tight ends to use in the game. O-line is just horrible, so you're going to need to rebuild the O-line. They do have Liam Eichenberg, though, to build around. Defensively, they're not as good as what in Madden as what they were in real life, which is, kind of surprising. But you have Emmanuel Ogbah, Jalen Phillips is there, and he's a Miami fan, so he likes that. Miami Hurricane fan. Christian Wilkins, Raekwon Davis, Adam Butler is going to be an okay interior D-line. Now, you did lose Kyle Van Noy, but you're also going to have Jerome Baker, Benardrick McKinney, and Andrew Van Ginkel. So, okay linebackers, but you're going to have to replace a couple of them, I think. And then secondary, you're going to have a really good secondary. To start, you're going to have Justin Coleman in the slot, Jason McCourty, Byron Jones, Xavier Howard. It's a really good secondary, especially in Madden. And you'll have Noah Igbenogany, Nick Needham as well. A little bit on the slower side, but he can play a little bit of slot, maybe play some safety. Javon Holland at safety. You have Brandon Jones already, Eric Rowe. So you're going to have a really, really good back seven of the defense in a good skill position. This is, kind of the opposite of what team did we look at that had a good interior? The Lions. Lions had really good interior but needed help at skill position. Dolphins are the opposite. Good skill, good perimeter, need some help on the interior. Okay, the New York Jets this year are going to be going to Tolgs. Tolgs will be keeping the Jets. Jets are going to be having Zach Wilson take the reins, so he's going to have fun. Oh, geez. If they gave him an 85 speed Ryby, what do you think they gave Mac Jones, like a 90? Damn, because he was faster than Zach Wilson, right? Jimbo in shambles. He'll be having Zach Wilson to ruin and throw 40 interceptions a year, too. Tevin Coleman will be a fun back to use in Madden. Corey Davis via free agency. Jamison Crowder in the slot. You still have Denzel Mims. Drafted Elijah Moore. Have no run really at tight end to speak about. Jimbo made this roster. No, Mac Jones is going to be balling for sure. Absolutely. You have a good left tackle, Mekhi Becton, to build around. You have Elijah Vera Tucker, so you'll have some pieces on the O-line. Connor McGovern, Alex Lewis, no one really at right tackle. But defense, they have pieces, especially on the D-line. They signed Carl Lawson in free agency. Granted, he's an outside linebacker because they're a 3-4. Big Q. They signed Sheldon Rankins. They still have John Franklin Myers. They picked up Vinnie Curry, or maybe he was already there. They have Vinnie Curry as well. Blake Cashman will be mine, but he's on the team, and he's going to probably be like a 65 overall. C.J. Mosley's still on the team, and he's still good for whatever fucking reason. And they signed Gerard Davis, who's athletic. He's not good, but he's athletic. Corner, the secondary is bad, so you're going to have terrible corners that he's going to need to build up. LaMarcus Joyner's meh, but Ashton Davis is young. Marcus May is good, but he's older, and he's, I believe, on a franchise tag deal. So, but Togs will be taking the Jets and the New England Patriots. Now, had they have drafted, say, Justin Fields, Trey Lance, whoever, I would have really considered going to New England. I don't like Mac Jones, really. Like, it's whatever. I think it'll be okay, and it'll be a fine move, potentially, but meh. Unless they're getting some fancy quarterback, I didn't want to deal with the Patriots this year. If Mac Jones plays out well, maybe I'll go back sometime, but meh. The New England Patriots this year will be handed to Mr. Wookie. Wookie will be going to the New England Patriots to join Togs in the division with Ryby and Wonka. You'll have Cam Newton for a season to run some options, zone read, power read kind of stuff if you want. And then you can build up Mac Jones to kind of develop more. And 72. So Jimbo definitely made the roster, Ryby. But regardless of what Mac Jones does in real life, he's going to be a young quarterback, probably have star dev, good throwing ratings, and he's not going to be a set. Mac Jones will be higher because they have kind of a love affair for Alabama quarterbacks. Oh my God, Wookie. But you'll have the answer at quarterback. Now, they have okay running backs, Sony Michel, Damian Harris, James White. It's a solid trio. Receiving core, now, New England, we did a ton of stuff this year in free agency. Nelson Aguilar, we signed Kendrick Bourne, signed 2 really good tight ends. But you'll have an okay receiving core, but you're going to have one of the best tight end duos in the game. Hunter Henry, Jonnu Smith, and you'll have these 2 bums down there in Dalton Keene, Devin Asiasi, Matt Lacoste, garbage ass. But you'll have 2 good tight ends. You'll have a couple young receivers to build around, some decent running backs, and you're going to have one of the best O-lines in the game. Isaiah Wynn's a really good young left tackle. Michael Onwenu, blah, blah, blah. Really good young left guard. One of the better centers in the game. One of the better right guards in the game. One of the better right tackles in the game. So it's going to be a really good O-line to use, and most of them are under the age of 28. So you're going to have it for a few years. Defensively is where they went big in free agency after the tight ends. Chase Winovich, Dietrich Wise are okay. You still have Lawrence Guy. They traded up in the second round to get Christian Barmore, which is going to be a really good quick twitch athletic DT, rushing the passer, pushing the pocket, as well as signing Devon Godchaw. Matt Judon coming over in free agency as well. You still have Hightower, Jawan Bentley. You re-signed Kyle Van Noy. And you also have Josh Uche and Anthony Jennings to be kind of younger guys. And they also signed or traded for Raekwon McMillan from the Raiders. And then one of the best secondaries in the game, without question, Stephon Gilmore, J.C. Jackson, Jonathan Jones, great trio of corners. Devin McCourty, still one of the best safeties in the game. Adrian Phillips, great depth. Then you have Kyle Duggar to kind of be that box safety linebacker guy. And then Jalen Mills as well. So, and they just signed Adrian Colbert for a fast safety for depth. And then one of the best punters in the game. So, that is the AFC East with Wonka to the Bills, Ribeye to the Dolphins, Togs to the Jets, and Wookie to the Pats. So now we will flip over and do the NFC East. What's the first team? I think it's the Cowboys. Yeah, Cowboys, Eagles, Giants, football team. Okay. So, the Dallas Cowboys this year are going to be going to a Cowboy fan, Schley. Schley will be taking his talents to the Dallas Cowboys. It's going to be a great fit for him, and he's going to have a phenomenal offense. Dak Prescott, although he had his injury, he's still going to be it's the Cowboys. They're overrated, and if we use stock rosters, we know how overrated the Cowboys are going to be. Zeke is still going to be good, even though he sucks. They're going to have Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, CD's Nuts Lamb. You're going to have Dalton Schultz, Blake Jarwin. They're good Madden young tight ends. They're athletic enough. Tyron Smith's going to be overrated at a 90+. Zach Martin's still one of the great guards in the game. Lyle Collins is going to be rated high. You're going to have kind of a weak center with Tyler Budish and Connor McGovern and Connor Williams, but it'll be fine. It'll be doable. You'll have Marcus Lawrence with no D, as Skip Bayless likes to say. Randy Gregory. So you'll have, DeMarcus Lawrence, he's not going to be a superstar, and I bet his rating's going to drop a bit for the next game. But he'll be okay. He's usually your best defensive player by far. No one interior-wise, but you do have Micah Parsons, one of the younger, better players in the game. Yeah, counter, power, trap, yep, repeat. But you're going to be a zone run team. Remember that. You're going to have Jabril C-X. Great, because you can't put Cox in there, even though there's people with that name already. Leighton Vander Esch, Jalen Smith. So they're not that good, but they're athletic and young enough. And then your secondary's okay. You did get Kelvin Joseph. You have Trayvon Diggs to build around. And then Anthony Brown, Jordan Lewis are still there, which we need to go ahead and do the 4th and 1 ritual for Emmett's sake and move him to safety. It wouldn't be 4th and 1 without it. Otherwise, you have DeMonte Kazee, Donovan Wilson. You bring Keanu Neal, which he's going to be a linebacker in Madden, I think. But he's not that good anyway. So, and then you have Star Robinson. But the Cowboys, their defense is going to be rough. But we know it's Madden. Even though they were horrible defensively, they're going to be overrated and good because it's Madden, which is part of the reason we went to the custom roster. The Philadelphia Eagles this season, this Madden cycle upcoming, will be an Eagles fan, surprisingly. There's still a few out there, even though Bobby's gone. It will be Narwhal. Narwhal will get his Eagles finally in the league. He'll have Jalen Hurts to build around. We'll see what he can do with Jalen Hurts. He's got Miles Sanders. Maybe he'll actually get him superstar dev. Bobby wasn't able to, so maybe he will get it. You'll have Devontae Smith, the Heisman winner. You'll have Jalen Reagor, Travis Fulgham, Greg Ward, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, John Hightower. So you have young guys, but none of them are really good. Devontae Smith and Reagor will probably be the two you build around, really. They'll both be about 22 when the game comes out. Zach Ertz is probably going to be gone. The third best tight end. Wow, isn't even rated number 1 on his team, Wendy. How about that? But you have Dallas Goedert, who's a good tight end. Your O-line's meh on the left side, but you have Jason Kelce, Brandon Brooks, Lane Johnson. You'll have a great right side of the O-line. D-line, defense is still pretty solid, D-line at least. Common lead indeed. Brandon Graham, Derek Barnett, Fletcher Cox, Javon Hargrave. It's a solid front four. But after that, you get... Oh, my God. He's a DN. He's not a linebacker. Don't really have anyone at linebacker. Eric Wilson, is going to be your best bet. You do have Darius Slay, but he's going to be 30, and I don't think he'll be superstar dev. And after that, you don't have much. I'm Avonte Maddox, but he's 5'9". In safeties, you did sign Anthony Harris from the Vikings, but other than that, nothing really good to use here. So, and you're most likely you're going to have picks though. You're going to have picks. They have a first from, was it Miami's first? I think is what they have, because Miami kept San Francisco's first. So they'll have Miami's first, and then they'll have a pick from Indy. I know what that pick will be, but I can't say on the stream. But then they'll also have Indy's pick. Okay, so now the New York Giants this year. Now, they made a ton of moves in free agency, and they were a little bit popular. I didn't really think they would be, but after the offseason and the draft they have an extra first this year from Chicago, so when Windy goes 4-12, you'll have a top 10. The Giants this season will be going to Manny. Manny will be getting some more Saquon Barkley cheese. Daniel Jones still garbage, but he's fast at least. That's right, 17 games this year. Shoot. You'll have Saquon. I think he's actually going to dip a bit ratings after his injury. I think he will. I know their rule is not to do it, but they don't like Saquon for whatever reason. But you're going to have a phenomenal receiving core. Kenny Golladay got big money. You have Sterling Shepard, Darius Slayton, Kadarius Toney, John Ross, and Dante Pettis. All athletic guys, well, other than Kenny Golladay, really. He's kind of more slow. But you're all going to have guys who can do stuff after the catch, some speed and whatnot. You're going to have Evan Ingram. Kyle Rudolph's going to be a good number 2. And then you sign Kelvin Benjamin for whatever reason. O-line needs a little bit of work. Now, you do have Andrew Thomas. You have Will Hernandez. But other than that, you really don't have much. So they'll need to improve the O-line. Now, defensively, love it. B.J. Hill's young. He's fine. Leonard Williams, Dexter Lawrence, Danny Shelton. Good interior D-lineman. But I love it. And you have okay edge players and linebackers and all that. They're okay. But you need some work. The Giants need offensive line work, front 7 work. Now, secondary, though, they have James Bradbury. They signed Adoree Jackson, who's going to be an athletic, really good cornerback in Madden. Logan Ryan's a not young, but he's a good veteran safety. Julian Love's a young player that you can build around. And you'll have Jabril Peppers and Xavier McKinney to build around as well. No Jody Jackson to carry this team this year, and you will have that extra pick from Windy, as we said. Okay, the Washington football team this year will be going to Young Jay Swagger. He will be taking the Washington football team this year. Another highly requested team. Now, they don't have much at quarterback. They do have Ryan Fitzmagic for a year. They have a young running back, Antonio Gibson. You're going to have a really good receiving tandem, young, athletic, with Terry McLaurin and Curtis Samuel reuniting the Ohio State duo. Adam Humphries in the slot. They got Brown in the draft as well. Taylor Heineke season indeed. Ricky Seals-Jones going to be athletic enough for you to kind of have a solid number 2 tight end. John Bates as well. And then Logan Thomas will be okay enough for a season or so. They picked up Charles Leno, Eric Flowers. They got him back. Okay center. Now they have Brandon Sheriff still. And then they drafted Samuel Cosme at tackle. So, okay O-line. Now, this is what everyone wanted them for. That front 4, if we get Madden more so like Madden 20 instead of 21, it's going to be phenomenal. Montez Sweat's going to be in the 90 speed. He's going to be much better than what he was. Chase Young, you're going to have one of the premier young defensive ends in the game. And you have 3 stud defensive linemen. And your 4th one is good. Still, he's even okay as your 4th one. Their front's going to be insane. And you'll trade one of them. You'll probably trade Matthew Ionide. And then Jamin Davis still. John Bostic's okay for a year. Cole Holcomb's solid. And then you'll get Kendall Fuller. They signed William Jackson away. Darryl Roberts in the slot. So it's pretty good. They got my boy Benny St. Juste. Cameron Curl had a breakout year being super young, or super late round pick, still young. And you got Landon Collins to be a solid box safety. So that is your NFC East. We have Manny to the Giants, Narwhal to the Eagles, Schley to the Cowboys, and then Young to the football team. Okay. We will now do the AFC West. We will be starting off with the Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos are going to be going to Coach L, a.k.a. Coach Quit, a.k.a. Coach Smith. Coach Smith will be taking the Broncos. It's going to have no quarterback, but you'll have Teddy again. He can't escape from Teddy. But he'll have solid weapons. Javonte Williams, Melvin Gordon. You're going to have Cortland Sutton, Tim Patrick, Jerry Jeudy, KJ Hamler, Noah Fant. And then they have an okay O-line, Garrett Bowles, Dalton Reisner, Graham Glasgow, Quinn Miners. Defensively, Smith is a closet Teddy fan. Defensively, they'll have Bradley Chubb, Von Miller, Shelby Harris down there on the D-line, Alexander Johnson, Josie Jewell to kind of be those middle. But now they're 3-4, and Smith's kind of a 4-3 cover 3 guy, so they'll have to change a little bit. And they're going to have a phenomenally good secondary. Kyle Fuller, Bryce Callahan, Ronald Darby, Patrick Surtain, Michael Ojima, Bermuda Triangle is what I call him. Justin Simmons is a phenomenal safety. Kareem Jackson's, for whatever reason, a fucking great safety in Madden. So they're going to be really good to build around. You're going to have a kicker who can kick it out the fucking gym, too. So overall, the Broncos are a really good team outside of quarterback and maybe interior D-line and linebackers, but those you can replace. So Smith will be getting the Broncos. The LA Chargers this year, they are going to our boy Sauce God. Sauce God will be taking the Chargers. He's going to get Justin Herbert, who's a little bit low. I think he should maybe be a little bit higher in Madden on the way they rate their teams, but I guarantee you they're just waiting for next Madden to boost them up. Austin Eckler, good young Madden back. Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, 2 solid guys on the outside. Then you have Jalen Guyton, Tyron Johnson, Josh Palmer for kind of younger guys for that wide receiver 3 role. They picked up Jared Cook. They have Trey McKitty, one of my favorite names ever. And they picked up Rashawn Slater. They able to get him in the draft to get a little help. They signed Corey Linsley, and then they still have Brian Balaga. So a much improved O-line. Now their defense is going to be nasty. Joey Bosa, Linval Joseph. They still have Kenneth Murray, Uchenna Nwasu, Chris Harris Jr. They drafted Asante Samuel Jr. Nasir Adderley's still young, and they still have Derwin James, who's still going to be rated good with X Factor, even though he's never on the damn field. So, Chargers have a really bright future. They have some pieces, some older dudes they'll need to replace right away, but it's a good squad. The Kansas City Chiefs this year, not really a highly requested team. I'm not too sure why. Maybe people are just, they don't want the Chiefs. They don't want Mahomes' contract or whatever, but made some vast improvements on the O-line. The Kansas City Chiefs this year are going to Bayou. Bayou will be taking his talents to the Midwest. Have some authentic cheese curds, actually. He will have the best quarterback in the game. He will have the best tight end in the game. He will have the best wide receiver in the game. Mahomes is going to be nasty. Clyde Edwards-Helaire will be okay. He's slow, but he's okay. They have Jet as well. The best receiver in the game with Tyreek Hill's speed. Mecole Hardman's amazing in Madden because of his speed. And Demarcus Robinson in Madden's a solid third receiver. Travis Kelce, so you can either keep him or you can trade him to Rob for the farm. You sign Orlando Brown Jr. or trade for him from Baltimore. Going to be a great Madden tackle. Sign Joe Thuney from New England. Going to be a great guard. Creed Humphrey that you drafted along with Austin Blythe are going to be fine. Lauren Duvernay-Tardif, fine. Kyle Long coming back and Mike Remmers, whatever, but you can replace them easily. Defense is kind of rough. So you're going to have to try and win in a shootout while you rebuild that team and get cheap on certain areas. Taco Charlton, Frank Clark's horrible, but he's rated okay. You do have Chris Jones, Derek Neddy, whatever the fuck his name is, with Jarran Reed as well. So you'll have a good interior D-line duo, but linebackers are nothing special. I guess Willie Gay's not good. That's fucking ridiculous. And then Nick Bolton. So you got some young athletic guys there. A secondary, other than L'Jarius Sneed, nothing. I mean, they have Mike Hughes, but meh. Chavarius Ward, meh. DeAndre Baker, meh. Juan Thornhill, and then you do have Tyrann Mathieu. So you have some pieces around there. You have a couple of studs on defense, and other than that, just meh. But now, the Las Vegas Raiders, they will be going to Cody. Cody's not really going to watch this, I assume. He probably won't even know his team, so we'll go through it quickly. Derek Carr, going to be a good quarterback in Madden. Kenyon Drake, Josh Jacobs, great 1-2 punch. You're going to have John Brown, good deep threat. Henry Ruggs is going to be a beast just because of his speed. Darren Waller is one of the best tight ends in the game, especially with his speed. The offensive line kind of went to shambles. Colt Miller, Richie Incognito, that's about it on the offensive line. They did take Alex Leatherwood. They reached on that. Defense is kind of pretty sus. Max Crosby, Clelin Ferrell is fine. Jonathan Hankins is okay. Yannick Ngakoue, he's an edge, but he's okay. Nick Kwiatkowski is okay. Corey Littleton's meh. Tanner Muse, he's athletic as hell, so that'll be fun. But just nothing good on the defense really to have and build around. Trayvon Moehrig is, a good safety to have. A little bit slow, though. So you don't have anything great to build around defensively. You'll need to kind of get an influx of talent in right away. So that is the AFC West, with Cody is the Raiders, Bayou is the Chiefs, Sauce God is the Chargers, and Coach L is the Broncos. On to the final division, the NFC West. The Arizona Cardinals this season will be going to Relic. Relic will be taking over the Cardinals. Super noisy offseason. Kyler Murray, you have the midget. Going to be great in Madden. You pick up James Conner for a power kind of interior back. Chase Edmonds should be your gun, scat back a little bit. Not super fast, but it's a decent enough running back core. DeAndre Hopkins, AJ Green, Christian Kirk, Andy Isabella, and then you have Rondale Moore. You're going to have a fine receiving core for the cycle. Trade AJ Green to Rob if you want. Really no one at tight end. Max Williams is about it. O-line got a little bit better. DJ Humphries, Justin Pugh, Rodney Hudson. They acquired Rodney Hudson. Brian Winters, they acquired him. So a little bit improved offensive line. Now D-line, especially with Madden kind of keeping them really good, you're going to have J.J. Watt, Chandler Jones. It's going to be a phenomenal duo for your pass rush, especially if pass rush is better. That's going to be great. Interior D-line's not great, but that is okay. Marcus Golden's a rotational edge rusher. Drafted Zaven Collins in the first round. They still have Jordan Hicks and Devon Kennard, kind of that hybrid edge role. Secondary, they picked up Malcolm Butler, so you'll have Byron Murphy, Malcolm Butler, and Jalen Thompson to build around. Malcolm Butler is just there for a season or two until you find a third corner. Isaiah Simmons, he's an athletic freak, but he didn't have a good year, so he'll be rated a bit lower. And then Budda Baker's one of the top safeties in the game. So Relic will be taking his talents to the Cardinals. The next NFC West team, the 49ers. The San Francisco 49ers this season will be Shokan. Shokan will be getting the San Francisco 49ers. Now, they're not going to have first-round picks. They're going to have Trey Lance to build around. They'll have Jimmy G, Raheem Mostert. They really are going to star out Wayne Gallman Jr.? Trey Sermon. You have Kyle Juszczyk, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk to build around offensively. You have one of the best tight ends in the game, George Kittle. You're going to have a great offensive line, Trent Williams, Laken Tomlinson, Alex Mack, and you're going to have Mike McGlinchey. So you're going to have a great running attack. Dee Ford, Nick Bosa, Eric Armstead, Maurice Hurst, Javon Kinlaw. It's going to be a really good front four to have. You're going to have Dre Greenlaw. You're going to have one of the best linebackers in Fred Warner, who's phenomenal, great in coverage, athletic. It's going to be a fun user backer to have. Secondary's not so good. Maybe they bring back Richard Sherman, but you have some older players who aren't athletic enough or are injury prone, like Jason Verrett, Jimmy Ward, Bream Body Calhoun, Jaquiski Tart. So it's a decent secondary. It's just nothing young that you can build around. Okay. The LA Rams will be going to Mr. Waffles. Mr. Waffles will be taking the LA Rams, which I'm surprised they weren't as requested as people want. I mean, granted, they don't have a ton of draft picks or first-round picks, so probably why. But you get Matt Stafford, who's going to be a really good quarterback there. We're only at 4 people. Damn, people dipped. Cam Akers at running back. It's going to be a solid guy to build around. You're going to have a really good receiving core with rookie Tutu Atwell, Van Jefferson, Deshaun Jackson, Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, Tyler Higbee at tight end to build around. A good offensive line, Andrew Whitworth. Rob Havenstein I guess it's not as good as I thought because they lost Austin Blythe. You're going to have Aaron Donald, the best defensive player in the game. Duck Hodges. You could have Sebastian Joseph Day as well on the interior. Ashawn Robinson, Leonard Floyd. You're going to have Jalen Ramsey, the best corner in the game. Darius Williams, one of the top number 2 corners in the game. You're going to have Terrell Burgess, Taylor Rapp, Jordan Fuller, a really good young secondary to build around. And you're going to have Johnny Hecker, the best punter in the game as well. Matt Gay, a good kicker because he's got 97 kick power. And last but not least, Shiloh, who I'm sure is blacked out drunk at 7 in the morning over there, will get his team, the Seattle Seahawks, his hometown team, or not his hometown team. Maybe, I think he's from Seattle. But his favorite team, you have Russell Wilson, Chris Carson, Rashad Penny, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, potentially Josh Gordon I don't think he's actually there anymore. He's released. Gerald Everett, Will Dissly, solid tight end duo. They improved their O-line. Dwayne Brown's there. They got Gabe Jackson. They got Aldon Smith, but he already got arrested or something, so that's fun. So then they have still Bobby Wagner, KJ Wright, Jordan Brooks. They did lose Griffin. They lost the Griffin brothers, I think, right? They both are in Jacksonville now. You still have Trey Flowers, though. Demarius Randall, DJ Reed. You have Quandre Diggs, and you have Jamal Adams. You won't have a first-round pick, though. That'll be with the Jets. But that is the 4th and 1 team reveal show. Thank you so much for joining, interacting. I will post the spreadsheet up. And, yeah, thank you. So feel free to start trading teams. If you want to get a certain team, hit a dude up and trade for them. So, sweet.